Hi and welcome to Python tutorial of body max index. Let me show you guys how this works. I already have the height and the weight of an individual. We can always reset, and let's come in here and let's enter another height. Say the guy is 1.8 and he weighs about that. There we have the body mass index of 56.17, which makes this guy extra obese. That is how it's calculated. I can always exit if I want. I can reset again and enter some other values. So let's say it's 1.9 and he weighs about 120 kilo. There. So it's about 33.24. So which make this guy obese level number 1. And you can see I also have a scale here. I have a height scale and I also have weight scales there as an indicator, and this is just an indicator as well. So what I'm going to do now is to take you guys straight into Python development environment, and we'll put one of these together. And welcome back to Python. So let's start by importing as follows. So from Tkinter, let's import the following, and we're going to be importing it also. Let's now import Tkinter message library. So I'm just going to say dot message box. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. Double click on that. There. Now I'm going to create a class, and this very class I'm going to call it BMI. Enter a column there. Now I will also define as follows. That is how you type your define, and enter underscore underscore double underscore, then initialize. After that, double underscore again, open a bracket and enter self comma root. So the root, that is more or less the name of my app. So I'm going to press enter. Make sure you indent your system and then enter self again dot root equals root, and self dot root equals title dot title dot title. And let's give my title a name. I'm just going to call that body max index. There we go. Close that up there. And now say self dot root again dot configure, and that will be for my background color. Background equals, I'm just going to make that dark gray. The choice is yours. Select whatever you want. Now underneath here, let me just enter a broken line. So I'm going to create frames, and these frames will be for all of the widget I intend to use. So the very first frame is going to be, let me call that main frame. And main frame is going to be right inside root. So let's enter the widget name. The widget name is called frame, and open a bracket and make sure main frame is inside root. So that should be self dot root really. There. Enter a comma. I'm going to enter a border, and I'm going to make that border about 20 comma width. I'm going to make that 100 and 1350 comma And there's something I missed out here. Let me enter the geometry of self.root here, because we're going to need that as well. That's the size of my application geometry. Okay, I'm going to make that, let it be 1350 times 600. Okay, let's make that 800 instead of 600. And we then say plus 0 plus 0. The plus 0 plus 0 means when the application opens up, it starts from right up there on the left hand side, right up there, and fill up the screen. Okay, let's come back to our frame since that one is sorted. So the height of this frame is going to be approximately, let's go for 700, comma, and let's get it padded as well. The x-axis, that's adding some padding to it, and the x-axis, that's 10, and y-axis, I'm going to make that 10 as well. Then let's say BG, that's going to be gray anyway, equals gray. Now, comma, let's enter the relief attributes. I'm just going to make that rigid. There we go. And finally, main dots grid, and I want that, let's just say dot grid, enter parentheses. So that's my main frame created. And what I would then do is I'm just going to copy all of this, just copy it, because I need two more frames. This one is going to be maybe left frame or right frame, whatever. Left frame, same thing for this as well, and this is going to be right. Okay, we're getting somewhere. All right, and in here, let's get it. I'm going to get it packed instead of putting it in a grid, and let's get it packed to the left side equals left, and this other one side is going to be right. Make this right. There. Okay, I'm just going to speed up the enhancement of these two frames, and I'll get back to you guys. There we go, guys. That's how the two frames are looking. So what I'm going to do now is, let me just round up the whole system, save it, and see how it's going to look like. Okay, so this is how you round it all up. So what I've said is if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals then underscore underscore main, then root equals this. That is the take into an application name. This is the application name, and I just want it to loop. Okay, so first thing, let's just save it and see how it's going to look like. So right inside here, I'm just going to call it BMI underscore index. So I'm going to save that. Save, that's the name of my app. Okay, now that it's saved, before I run it, look, there's an error here. Let's enter column, and the spelling of grade is wrong. Okay, let's give it a try and see how that looks like. And let's just see. There we go. That's fine. There should be 3 frames in here and 4 frames in there as well. Okay, let's close this, and in here I'm just going to speed that up and show you guys the frames, how it all looks. Okay, those are the lines of the inner frames that I've just created. Have a good look at it, and I've also just added color to the upper one there. That would be for my title. So have a good look at the lines of code for the frames. So I'm now going to run it, and you see how it all looks like there. So we have 4 here and we have 3 here. Okay, so the first thing I like to do now is let's enter title in here. So close that. Alright, for the very first frame, let's enter. That is going to be left 0. Okay, so let's say self dot lbl title equals label, and this label will be right inside frame 0 there. And I'm just going to say comma, and this label we have bottom as index, and that's my title. There we go, comma, and let's get it padded. Left side, I'm going to make that approximately 17, and y-axis padding, I'm going to make that about 4, and let's add a border around it. This border is going to be 1. Then the font is going to be black, so it will have a default font anyway. I don't have to add black, but you can add that if you want, and close that, comma. Then the next thing is, let's say font. The font type I intend to use is going to be Arial, and I'm going to make that approximately 40. That's the size of my font, and set it to bold, comma. Now the background color for this label, I'm going to make the background color sky blue as well. This very color you have in here. Okay, if you notice I have double quote in here and I'm using single quote in here. It works in both in the same way. And let's say width equals I'm going to make that about 20 there, and I'm just going to get this packed. Copy that, come right down here, paste, dot, packed there. So let's save and run, or run and save. Let's see, we have an error there. Okay, we need a comma here. Let's just enter a comma and run it one more time. There we go, that's my title taken care of. Just like I said, the default color will be black. If I take this off, it will still be black. So let's run it and you see how it's going to look like. There, the default color is black. Okay, now alright, there's something I would like to do right up here. If I run it, I just want to add a scale up here, and I will use that opportunity to add another scale here. I just want you guys to see how to create a scale. So underneath here, I'm going to create my scale. So let's come down so you guys can see it. I'm going to say self dot, the very first scale I will name that as body height. Right, so body height equals widget scale. Okay, but this should be uppercase, the S should be uppercase, and the following attribute will be added. Body height, I want you to be right inside right frame 2. That is for the body height. No, it's 0. It's going to be 0, comma. Now variable, I'm supposed to declare some variables, and this variable, I'm just going to name that variable 3. Is not declared. Why I am at it, I might as well just take care of those variables. So let's go right up here, and right underneath these frames, I'm going to declare my variable right underneath these frames. I'll copy that and just paste it right here. The very first variable is going to be variable 1, and for variable 1, let's say string. And let's make that and enter parentheses. So I'm just going to copy that, and that will be for 2, 3, and 4. So this will be 2, 3, 4. For the first two variables, those are strings. For 3 and 4, I'm going to make them double. So highlight that. 4 will be double, and this will be double as well. 3 will be double, 4 will be double. There. Now let's come right down here. So variable number 3, which is this one, I would like it to start from, so the index for that would be from, let's say, underscore equals 1, 2, 5, comma, and let's set the height to the length, sorry, approximately 507, comma, then tick interval, that will be equals to 1, and enter a column there, the comma, sorry. Then underneath, I'm going to enter the orientation. Let's say orient equals, I want it to be horizontal, equals horizontal, comma, and the state. Because I don't want you to be able to adjust it, I'm going to make the state to be disabled. Okay, if you want, you can always enable your state. Just delete this, state equals disabled. And I also would like a label right there, so let's enter the name of the label. So that's going to be height in meters square. Right, close that. And finally, let me add a font, or add some font onto it. Copy, paste, just dump it right there. And the size of the font, I'm going to make that approximately 10. Let's just go for 10, and that will be all. Now, this very scale, copy that and get it, set it in a row. Dot grade, delete that. Dot grade, the row will be 0. Row equals, okay, for the very first one, I can make it 0 or 1, but anyway, it's going to be 1. It's only 1 there, so there. Close that. Alright, so I'm going to try this out. Let's get rid of these minor errors and close this here. And this need to be indented. Yeah. Okay. Save it first and then run it. There we go. That's my very first scaling there. Because I've deleted it, I cannot move it, but because I disabled it, let's get rid of that and just copy that, and you see how it works. So if I've cut it off, so if I run it now, okay, so I can move that around, okay, but I don't want the user to be able to tamper with it. That's why I disabled it. So that's back on. Copy it, and I'm going to now paste it for the second one. So come right down here, and the second one is going to be called width. So in here that'll be the width. Right, change this as well. And in the case of the width, that is going to be inside frame number 2. This very right, frame 2. So change this to 2. And the text content, let's change the text content to, that will be width in kilograms. Okay, so let's try it out and see how that's going to look like as well. No, let's change the variable. The variable of that is 4. So I'm going to run it and see. Okay, I have my second one. Okay, and I have this as well, so that's fine. But look at the interval. I'm going to change the interval because the interval for that is totally different. I'm going to make it about 500 instead of 5. So that'll be 500, and the interval right here should be different. So let's say about 50. The interval here is 1. So let's run it and see how it's going to look like. There we go, look at that. Okay, so that's fine. Now you've seen how to create the scale, so that's fine. So what we now need to do is to enter our, let's add a label now. Let's see it once more. Right, that's fine. So I'm going to enter let's say text widget here. Alright, for the text widget I will also need to add a title, so let's come in and just speed that up. So that will be the text widget. So I have a label for the title, and that's the text widget. Okay, here is the label, and right underneath is the text widget. So the text widget, I will also like to populate that just to give an indication of the weight, the BMI calculation and so on. That is the text widget. So let's close that and come right down here. Underneath here, let's say self dot txt body max table dot insert, and the very first data that I will insert in there is going to be, let's say, the meaning of each of these. So space space space, one more, that's about 4. Okay, close that, and plus BMI, and close that as well, and I'm going to enter space 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 as well. Okay, let's come in and just say next line. There, close that. If I run it, this is what you guys will see. There we go. Okay, and now let's add the various meaning of each of the body mass index. So I'm going to copy this, copy, come right underneath here, paste. I think we have about 4 different value. Okay, and this one is going to be the normal weight. In case of normal weight, that would be, the value would be about, let's say, 19 by 24, 24.9. Is it 0.9 or comma now? You guys can always do your own research. The next one is going to be, let's say, overweight. Do your own research. You should be able to see how it is defined. Overweight. In case of overweight, that will be 25 to 29. I think is dot. Yeah. Now, obese. For the obese or obesity, there's there's 3 levels and more. So we have the first level. The case of the first level, that will be what? Let's see, the value of that will be 30 by 34.9 and so on. So I'm going to copy that and just change the obesity around. Okay guys, those are the data that you need to know for the indicators of your body mass index. So let's run it and see how it looks like. There we go. Normal weight, overweight, obesity 1, 2 and 3. So I'm going to close this, and let's close this as well. Right underneath here, I'm going to just enter another break or broken lines. Okay, and in here what I intend to do is to try and populate this very part of the frames. Okay, this 3 needs to be populated. That we have a button in here, the BMI value, height and width here. So let's come in here. Right underneath here, the first thing I like to do is for the height, let's say self dot LBL height, and that is going to be equals label, and this very label is going to be right inside the left frame. This very frame here, this very one, I think it's 1. So let's come down here. No, let's put it on 2. It's going to be in frame number 2, and let's say comma text equals. I'm going to just enter as follows. So in there, enter the following. So that will be height in meters squared. And the next thing I will like to do now is to enter let's enter fonts. Copy this, come right down here, paste that there, and the font I intend to use, I'm going to make that approximately maybe 20. Okay, that's fine. And what else? Let's enter border. So the border is going to be, let's say, about 2 equals 2, and let's get a justify left. Close that there. Now I'm going to pack it, so come right down here. Now I put it in a grid, so come right down, press enter, paste that in there, and that is going to be dot grid equals row 0 dot grid equals row equals 0, and column equals 0 as well. Close that and come right down here, just do that. Okay, there, let's put an end there. Now I'm going to get it padded, and let's make the value of that to be about 15. Now the next thing I'd like to do now is I'm going to say self, that would be for my text box, let's say is txt height equals entry. and this very entry is going to be resident right inside frame left frame 2 as well. And let's enter a variable for it. This variable is going to be variable 1, value 1. If you guys remember the variable declared right up here, there. Now I'm now using one of them, and comma. Now the next thing is going to be the font. I'm going to make the size of the font 20 as well. Copy, paste. And what else shall we add? What about border and alignment? Border, alignment, and width. Okay, let's come in here. I'm going to copy all of this, paste that in there. Let's make this about 5, and width here. I'm going to make that 5 or 15. Okay, that's fine. Comma right there. And now copy that, come right underneath here, paste, dot grade equals the role in this case, that will be 0 and the column will be 1 there. Right, 0 and 1. But the pattern in this case, I'm going to enhance that pattern. Let's just make that y axis will be 10 there. Okay, so I'm going to try that out. Let's put a comma here as well. Let's run and save and run. Okay, I have the very first one. That's good. So the second one, that would be for my width. Let's copy all of that, paste, and in the case of the width, so this will be, this is 1, this will be 1, and this will be width. W here as well, and here, there. Okay, that should be right underneath the height. So let's run that and see how it's gonna look. There we go. But we need to change this. Now let's change that to something else. So that will be enter weight in kilograms. I'm going to copy this and just paste that right in here. So let's run and see. There. Okay, we need to take care of the other 2 frames. Okay, you see here, let me enter the result of both inputs. So let's come right here. First of all, I'm just going to copy this and come right down here, paste that. Okay, here I'm going to change this to left frame 3, and in here is going to be the result. So what shall we call that? Let's call it BMI result is there. Right, and that is going to be 0. Let's make that 0. Yeah, and the other one, let's copy that, paste this underneath here, undo that. I need the text. Shall we use text, or we can use text for that? Paste that and just change this to text. And this is meant to be result BMI result. Okay. Here as well. And this is going to be BMI. Alright, this is going to be the text. TXT result and TXT result here. There. The column in this case, this one is 0. No, this should be 0. That's the label. 0 and 0, and this one will be 0 and 1 here. There. Alright, so let's continue. I'm going to change this to frame number 3, left frame 3. You see this? I really don't need it, so I'm going to change those to left frame padding equals 100 and maybe we'll say 105. Then y axis pattern equals 5. What else do we need? You see this border, I'm going to make that 5, okay, to make it solid. And the next thing is I'm going to just jazz it up a little bit. You see the sky, let's say here I'm going to enter back color equals sky blue, close that up, comma, and I would like to relieve it as shrink. Right, let's change this so equals, and come right down here, press enter. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the justify bit and the width. Let's enter width equals about 13, comma, height equals 1, and that is fine. Okay, I'm going to have a look at it. I should run it here. Let's enter a comma there and save and run. Let's see how it all looks like. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Now the next thing is, let me add my buttons underneath here. So I'm going to copy all of that and just paste it right here. Try that again. Copy, Control C, and just paste. Now let's add buttons. Okay, for the buttons, I'm just gonna copy one of these and just change things around. Copy that, come right down here, paste, and the very first button, I'm gonna call it BTN BMI. That's for the very first button. Get rid of this and just name this as BTN BMI as well. And it's going to be inside frame number 1 because I've used the other frames. Now let's say we have 3 in there. The text on it is going to be calculate BMI. Calculate BMI. Let's get it padded. For the padding, let's see. Just copy this. And right here, we need a padding there. So for the Y, I need one for Y and one for X axis as well. Let's say this is the X axis, and the X axis padding is going to be about 4. And this will be about 2, comma, let's say border equals 4, width, I'll make that about 12, and the font will be 20. Okay, let's get rid of this. Font is 20. What else do we need? We're going to need height. I'm going to make the height 4, and okay, close that. Okay, I'm going to copy this very first button and then just speed up the whole process for the reset and the exit. So let's copy it and paste it right underneath here. And we just need to change things around. So this will be column 1, 2, and 1 and 2. If we run it now, this is what you guys will see. There we go. So all I then need to do is just change the data in each of them around. So this is going to be exit. I have all of this as exit. This is going to be reset. Copy that and just enhance this with the others, and that is reset. There. Now let's save and run. There we go. However, there's nothing happening. The interface looks beautiful. Okay, now the next thing we want to do now is to go right up here, right underneath my variables here. I'm going to declare some functions. Copy that and paste that right in here. So the very first function I'm going to have a look at will be the exit. For the exits, I'm going to define the following. I will call that iExit, and for iExit, let's say iExit equals tickinter dot message box. Let's enter M in there, message box right there, double click on that dot, that will be ask yes or no, open a bracket, and that is going to be body there. Now let's use an if statement to check the input. If iExit greater than 0, I actually want root dot destroy, enter parentheses, and let's return there. Now we're going to copy this iExit, and right underneath here I'm going to enter as follows: command equals iExit. So let's save and run that and see how that's going to look like. There we go. Try that out. No, I do not want to exit. Yes, I want to exit. There we go. So now the next one is to take care of the reset. Let's copy this and let's go right up here. Now underneath here we enter the, let's define as a reset. Now I like to clear all of the variables that are declared, so let's say dot set equals, there the very first one is taken care of, and the stuff that I copied, let's paste that, and let's copy and just paste the other. Yeah, just get it indented, hold on to the control, and there we go. There, and this is going to be 2, 3, 4. Okay, for 3 and 4 I'm just going to make those the value of those zeros. Now let's call this inside the reset button. Copy, scroll right down, the reset button right underneath here, that's a comma, command equals reset. So let's try that out as well, since the reset is taken care of. There, I'm going to enter some value in there and reset. There we go. Alright, finally we now want to take care of the BMI calculator itself. In the case of the BMI calculator, the first thing is I'm going to give it a name. Just copy and paste that, change the name around there. just call that BMI underscore calculator, BMI underscore calculate. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Now define a local variable b height. Let's say equals variable 1 dot get, enter parentheses and get that close. The next one is going to be for the width, there, and change this to width. Come right here, change that to 2. Those are my two local variables. Now I don't want this where the result is going to be. First thing is just to clear whatever we have in there. So come right down here and paste that, copy it again, paste, and this one is not even cleared really, so let's delete whatever we have in there. So in here let's just say dot delete, and that will be 1.0, close that, comma end there, and the same thing will be used here, just for the system to clear whatever we have in there. Now that that is clear, I'm going to now use an if statement to identify whatever value we have in there. Let's say if the end user should enter any invalid or non-numeric data, as a b height equals dot is digit. Dot is digit, that's a method or a function that can be used, or b width dot is digit, enter, comma there to cover it up, and semicolon. In that case, b height, let's copy both and just change them. B height equals, I'm going to have to convert that. First thing first is to convert b height to a float number there, and I will also convert the width to float number, so floating number as well, so make this w. Okay, now another local variable BMI equals, let's get it floated, float, and that will be pound. Let's enter a dot 2 decimal place, right? Close that, and let's enter another pound there, or percentage equals b, no, that will be bw, get rid of this, bw is self, and that is the formula. We're going to have to divide that by b height multiplied by b height, that's the square, when the height is squared. That is the formula. And then close this, and how many do I have? 1 2 3, so one more here, there. So self dot result is very one, we want to insert whatever value we have in there. Come in here, paste that in there, dot insert, and what we are entering is that be end, and that will be BMI. Close that. Now, and I want these two. Those are for these two variables are just for the scale, to paste them in there. So the first one is going to be the height. Copy height, paste it right in there, and the width is going to, the second one is going to be for the width, right? And return equals true in this case. equals true. Return is true. Else, enter column. I'm going to enter a message box. Dot message. Let's copy all of those in here. Dot message. Paste. Come right down. Okay, in the case of dot message, I want this just to show warning sign. Dot show warning sign. There we go, that's it right there. And what warning are we talking about? Division by 0 is not allowed. Division by 0, let's say, is invalid. And comma, enter a valid number. Okay, that's good enough. Now let's clear all of this. That will be 1 dot variable number 1, clear it, and repeat the same thing for variable number 2, clear 2, clear 3. Okay, and we want to delete whatever we have in here as well, if there's anything in here. This is going to be 3, 4, 2. So 3 and 4 will be 0. Let's make them 0 because they are scales. There. Okay, let's get this indented. Select all of these. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to indent this as well. And you can always go to format and just indent. Right. Okay. So I'm now going to call this function or definition right inside the BMI calculator. So comma command equals that. Okay, let's try it out now. Run, and let's see if it's going to work. First of all, I'm going to just enter some rubbish in there. No, invalid data. Division by 0 is invalid. Or okay, let's enter some. Let's save it empty. Okay, it's empty, and in here let's enter some data in there. Let's say the height is 1.9 and the width of this guy, the weight of this guy is about 125 kilograms. There we go. Look at that. This guy is obese in the first order. So let's say if we reduce it to about 110. Okay, it's still a little bit obese. Let's make that 0.8. all right. Yeah, but you're still obese. It's not up to 30, so that's fine. And we can clear it. That's good. If you notice, this has changed. So let's try out some other value. Let's change that to about 7 and see the weight of this guy. Okay, he's obese for his height and his width. Let's see. Let's make him about 92. Okay, a little bit obese. 90. Still obese. Boy, you are skinny. Yeah, that's how you calculate your own BMI in Python. And with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed. Please do subscribe to my channel, and I'll be very pleased if you can become a member of the channel. You all have a nice day now. Bye for now.